Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the Todd Bowles effect on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2019 season. Tampa Bay has not made the playoffs in over 11 seasons, and I'm interested to see how a coaching change will impact Tampa Bay's prospects for this upcoming season. This first graph shows the average number of wins and the minimum number of wins needed to get into the playoffs as an NFC team each season. Every single year, 4 division winners get into the playoffs, as well as 2 additional wildcard teams who have the most wins outside of those division winners. So this green line shows the average number of wins needed to get in, and this orange line shows the minimum number that a team got in, and usually they're the division winners. For example, in 2010, the average wins were 10 wins for the NFC, but the Seattle Seahawks got in with a minimum win of 7, so they went 7-9 that season. And the same case in 2014, the Arizona Cardinals went 7-9, but they still got in as the division champions for the NFC East. This next graph shows team yards and points for and against. We're currently looking at the entire NFL, but as we apply filters for the NFC and teams that made the playoffs, some clear trends start to appear. Every single team tends to run and pass for more yards than they give up, and also score more points than they allow. Looking at the forecast that Tableau provides us, we can expect a playoff team in the NFC to run and pass for 365 yards while giving up only 330. And then we expect a team to score 26 points a game while only allowing 20 points. So these are pretty clear trends and obvious in a way that you would expect the good teams to make the playoffs to score more points than they allow while also running and passing for more than their opponents. So this next graph is a scatter plot showing points for and points against for NFL teams. We're currently looking at the entire NFL, so as we apply filters for teams that made the playoffs and NFC teams, we can investigate this a little more. So at the bottom here, we have a little blowout for Tampa Bay. Their average is 20.5 points for, and in points against, they're averaging about 25. That puts them in this top left quadrant here, which isn't necessarily better than any of the rest for playoff teams. It would be nice to say, oh, well, if you score X amount of points while only giving up a few, you're going to make the playoffs. But this is pretty evenly spread out. You can't really make a good final conclusion on this. However, Tampa Bay is pretty much directly with the 2010 Seattle Seahawks. And if you remember from earlier in the presentation, the 2010 Seattle Seahawks made the playoffs, but they went 7-9 that season, so kind of a fluke to make the playoffs. But they were a division champion, so they made it. This isn't a good goal to be a playoff team. You do want to be somewhat closer to the center here. Again, you don't want to shoot to be 7-9. You're not going to make the playoffs consistently doing that. The Todd Bowles effect on a defense, we're going to look at his time with the Arizona Cardinals, where he was only the defensive coordinator. So in 2012, a year before Bowles took over, the Arizona Cardinals ranked 17th for points allowed and 12th for yards allowed. In his first year with the team, when Bowles took over, he increased the rank to 7th in points and 6th in yards. So dramatic improvement for the defense there, specifically for points allowed. The defense was kind of flattening out here, but when he took over, he made an improvement, and he even improved the mark the next season, decreasing the overall points by 4. So a field goal and a little bit more than that, maybe a blocked extra point. But if you look up here, they did run and pass for more yards, but Bowles let up fewer points, which I think is more important. As I discussed in that last slide, people can run and pass as much as they want, but as long as they're not doing that in the end zone, I'm perfectly fine with that. So can the Bowles effect bring Tampa Bay back to the playoffs? Not by itself. Tampa Bay is going to have to see a significant increase on offense. If you remember, every single playoff team from the NFC had their green line above the red line consistently, and that's just not the case for Tampa Bay. The forecast indicator that Tableau provided for playoff teams for points allowed was 20 points about, and the Bowles effect should bring that right around to the fringe of that. However, this is still above the 19 points that Tableau estimates for the offense. So the new offensive coordinator, who's kind of untested, is going to have to improve the offense a little bit for Tampa Bay to have a shot to make the playoffs. Currently, if you look at these two graphs, they're doing what I don't want teams to do, which is running and passing for a lot of yards, but not getting in the end zone. So Tampa Bay is going to have to score more points, and the Bowles effect should be right on the precipice of making the playoffs. Thank you all for viewing. All data was gathered from ProFootballReference.com.